So in my last video, we built an extremely small computer inside of a massive Thermaltake case. And while this computer does perform fantastic, I think it needs more cooling. So I bought a ton of case fans, and now we're gonna see just how many of these I can put inside of this case. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if I am able to fit every single fan that I have inside of this case, then there will be 50 fans inside of one gaming computer. Now, they have to be inside the system. Now, I could go ahead and screw a whole bunch on the exterior of the case, but that's not what we're going for. What we're going for is putting every single case inside of the computer and then being able to close the front panel and pretend like this is normal. Now, a lot of the fans that we're going to use are these Antec fans. They come in packs of 5 and they're extremely affordable. And you usually only need 5 fans for a gaming PC. So putting 50 in a computer is gonna be a little weird. I even have this gigantic Cooler Master fan, and we're gonna put that in there too. There's gonna be so many fans in this thing, it's gonna float away. I probably should have also bought a noise level reader. I don't know what those are called, but I probably should have bought one just because 50 fans is gonna be loud. So you might be wondering how I'm going to power 50 fans inside of one computer, because I'm not going to use the Molex adapter that comes with every single one of these fans, because you can't control the fan speeds that way. So I am going to use these fan hubs by Ergo. They control 10 fans each. So we've got enough to make sure that every single fan will have power and work properly. And best of all, I can control the fan speeds so that I can boost them up to max. So I understand that it's completely ridiculous to put 50 fans inside of a computer. There's absolutely no reason why anyone should ever do this. But I'm very curious to see how 50 fans inside of one computer affects the thermals. So what we're gonna have to do now is we're gonna have to plug this system up, we're gonna play some games, and we're gonna run some benchmarks, and we're gonna try to work the thermals up as high as we can. And then we'll get that baseline so that we know at the end, once the 50 fans are in there and they are running at full speed, just how well the thermals look afterwards. I have no idea where I'm supposed to put 50 fans in the meantime. Like, where do you store all these fans? This is silly. So to get the baseline temperature for our CPU and GPU, I went ahead and I ran Prime 95 for about an hour, and the max CPU temp that we hit was 72 degrees. Which is okay, especially considering the fact that we are using a low profile cooler inside of the system. And I used Furmark to test the GPU to see just how hot it will get. It was been at 100% utilization this entire time, and it hasn't even gone over 60 degrees Celsius, which is rather remarkable. I thought for sure it was gonna go up into the 70s, but 60 is great. So now we have our numbers, 60 degrees Celsius and 72 degrees before we put all the fans in this case. I chose this case not only because of the massive amount of space that you have inside the top compartment, but you also have the ability to put a very large amount of fans in the bottom as well. And that's gonna really help boost the amount of fans we can use in the system. Now, it's not really going to help in pushing air up top if you put the fans down at the bottom here, but regardless, fans in the system are fans in the system, and that's the goal anyways, is to just get the fans in there. So we are going to slam the bottom full first, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the front section here, and we'll work it all the way out to here, and then we'll build up from here. And then I have a bunch of different size fans, and we'll see if we can't slide those in random corners as we go through this. Now, some of these fans are actually pretty dirty. Like this one's still got a lot of dust and dirt on the bottom of it. And that's because they came out of other builds that we did in the system. And if I wasn't going to use the fan in the end result and, you know, putting it in a new case or whatever we were doing, then I just put them in my office, and I figured we would just save them for this video because I've always wanted to do this video and put all these fans in the computer. I just never had enough fans, so I've been saving up, and we're finally ready for it, so that's why we're doing it now. I guess putting the ugly looking fans in the bottom is probably the right way to go anyways, just because I don't really want to see a bunch of dirty, gross fans. Okay, so I've got the first 3 fans in, and what I did was I only used 2 screws per fan to attach it to this front plate here, and then I'm gonna use zip ties to attach the remaining ones, I should be able to get maybe 2 fans in the back on this left side here, and then 4 or 5 fans to fill up this gap right here. I think that the zip ties will actually work really well. Plus, it'll help when I want to take this thing apart. I just kind of snip, and then I have all my fans back. I can get 7 fans. I should be able to get 7 fans inside the bottom here. Maybe even more. Might be able to get 8. All right, well, let's zip tie. This is 6 fans. They're all going to be throwing air that way. I think this looks incredibly silly. I hope you agree. What do you think of that for cable management? That looks ridiculous. Okay, so we've got 18 fans in the bottom chamber here, and I could realistically fit more. I could probably fit 2 more right here and 2 more right here to push air out, but we're gonna start with the top section now. I do have 4 fans in the front here, making it a total of 22 fans in the case that are just fans so far, not including the components or the hardware that we put inside the system in the last video. So let's go ahead and we're gonna flip this thing over. We'll start getting some of the front fans in, and then we're getting closer and closer to trying to connect all of these fan headers, because this is an insane amount of cabling for fans. So with the bottom 100% full of fans, it is time to start putting fans on the inside of the case. So what we're probably gonna do is do exhaust all the way up, and I'm probably just gonna stick with the exhaust. So we're just gonna exhaust air all the way to the top through the top of the case here. So we'll do a lot of Antec fans on this side, and then I do have some larger fans here. I will put one of them as another intake fan for the top to bring air inside, and then the rest of them are all just going to exhaust air through the top of the case. So I thought 50 fans was impossible. I thought for sure there was no way 50 fans fit in here. I need more fans. I only have 4 left, and I don't have any more fans. This is it. 4, and then the big daddy, the big Cooler Master. I guess we just have to stick with 50. I don't have any more fans. Okay, so here's the deal. I could easily get maybe 30 or 40 more fans inside of here, but I am dead out of fans, and I'm not gonna wait to buy more fans to finish this video. So 50 fans is gonna have to be enough for you, and I hope it is, because I've never seen a gaming computer that ever had more than maybe 20 fans. So this is something special to me. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. I'm sure this thing is going to be ultra loud. I will put my mic close to it so that way you guys can hear it. But let's see if everything's working. Oh, there's a wire hitting something. Jesus, this thing's loud. Where is that? Oh, we are hitting something. Is it in the back? It sounds like it's in the front. It is. It's in the front somewhere. Oh, we're gonna have to troubleshoot that. This thing is so loud, and there is so much air coming out of the top of this and in the back. Jesus. All right, let me figure out where that sound's coming from. It's gotta be one of these front fans. That is an ultra annoying noise. Oh, found it. There we go. Okay. It's working. And everything's spinning. Every one of these fans is spinning. There's so much air flying through this thing. That is insane. All right, well, now we gotta ramp up the fans because they're not even at max speed. And let's see how it affects the temps. Okay, so with the fans ramped up all the way to max, this thing sounds like a server, and it's slamming me with a ton of hot air. And the desk is shaking like crazy. I mean, I sat down to load up Prime 95 and FurMark, and this thing is just vibrating like crazy. Now, the funniest thing is that I'm seeing zero change in CPU temperature. The CPU temperature is still sitting at 72 max, and it hasn't changed at all. So this amount of fans didn't do anything for the CPU temperature. Now the GPU temperature, however, we were only able to shred off 2 degrees. So the max temp was 58 degrees versus 60 like before. So it's absolutely not at all worth it to put an absurd amount of fans in your computer. It seems to be making zero change to how this computer is performing. Now, if I were to make any adjustments to how I set this up, I would put all the fans in the top section, because I was almost certain that there was no way we fit 50 fans in this case. When I was dead wrong, I could have probably gotten closer to 100 in here, but I'm just not gonna go out and buy more fans because I can't justify having 100 PC fans at my house. Now, should you do something like this? Absolutely not. Don't do this. Don't. I'm telling you right now, don't do this. Do not go out and buy a ton of fans. I think a computer max 12, 13 fans is really all you need to move adequate amounts of air through the computer and make sure that all your components are nice and cold. Now, I only did this so that you and I could spend a little bit of time together and have some fun doing something a little weird. I definitely think that it was worthwhile. I had a lot of fun putting it together. But in next video, I am going to disassemble this and I'm going to put it in one of the coolest cases that I've ever seen. Obviously not with this many fans, but I am going to relocate this wonderful computer into a case that it deserves to be in. But until that video, I hope that no matter where you are in the world, you are having the most fantastic day. And I'll see you in the next video.